Welcome back to Eyes on Israel. A few weeks ago on this program, we discussed the Chinese Communist Party's involvement in the war against Israel. If you haven't seen that segment, please go to our YouTube or Rumble channels or to americasvoice.news to check it out. At the time, I mentioned the use of TikTok as a platform that has been used to promote anti-Israel and anti-Semitic narratives. I mentioned the Osama bin Laden letter to America that went viral only on TikTok. I also pointed to a video that appeared on Chinese social media praising TikTok for its role in swaying public opinion away from Israel. Have a look.
TikTok 为巴勒斯坦立了大功啊！不知道大家有没有发现啊？这次巴以冲突和以往不一样了。不一样在哪儿呢？以往的西方世界啊，从政府到民间，几乎都是清一色的支持犹太人，不支持的呢，也只是漠不关心的状态。但是啊，这次不一样了。随着以色列军队进攻加沙，加沙平民被无情杀戮的画面通过 TikTok 等自媒体平台被实时的、不加任何掩饰的展现在全世界人民面前。然后呢，我们就看到了非常不同以往的画面。第一呢，哈瑞迪犹太人焚烧以色列国旗，以表示反对以色列对巴勒斯坦人民的暴行，并表示以色列不能够代表犹太人，以色列违反了犹太教义。第二呢，美国民众在旧金山国会大厦前游行，支持巴勒斯坦。第三，澳大利亚数万人声援巴勒斯坦。第四呢，就是英国伦敦10万人游行支持巴勒斯坦。5就是加拿大民众高举着巴勒斯坦的国旗声援巴勒斯坦人。大家有没有发现啊？美、英、加、澳新的五眼联盟中的4个已经有大规模的民众在游行了，在支持着巴勒斯坦了。这标志着世界人民已经成功的从犹太精英们建立起来的信息蚕茧中挣脱了出来。以前不是他们不辨是非啊，只是被蒙蔽了双眼。现在因为 TikTok 的存在，他们接收到的信息是不加滤镜的真实信息。那些惨死在以色列炮火下的儿童、老人、妇女、无辜平民，唤起了每一个有良知的人。所以知道为什么西方政客们要千方百计地针对 TikTok 了吧？因为这动摇了他们的根本，让他们的奶嘴计划无法顺利地进行。这也许只是一个开始，待民众集体觉醒，就是他们的末日到来之时啊！愿世界和平，愿无辜的百姓、人民平安。
This video appeared on October 30th, just days after Israel launched its ground invasion against Hamas. While TikTok officials claim that the charges of anti-Israel bias are baseless, the evidence is pretty clear. Pro-Hamas posts on TikTok outnumber pro-Israel posts by a ratio of almost 50-1. And just a few weeks ago on Jordanian TV, the former president of the Jordanian Medical Association, one Tariq Taboub, had this to say about TikTok.
محتوى تيك توك 90% هو برو فلسطينيا مع الفلسطينيين و10% لا. وعت الناس بشكل يعني هذه هبه رحمانيه. احنا الناس في بدايه الانترنت كانت الناس تتخوف من الافلام الاباحيه والمش عارف ايش والكلام
هو سلاح ذو حدين.
فهي زي اي شيء، هل هي حرام او حلال؟ هي بما تستخدمه لها.
نعم.
فهي هبه من الله سبحانه وتعالى للناس الذين لا يملكون وسيله الاعلام المسيطر عليه، الاعلام الرسمي.
وخدمه القضيه بشكل كتير واضح.
ترى فتيات اوروبيات وامريكيات شقر وتيشيرت وجسمها كله موشوب بتقول لك قراءه القران وبكره رايح اسلم. صحيح. نتيجه التعرف الصحيح على الفكره.
Considering that TikTok is the primary news source, that's right, for the Gen Z and younger crowd, it should be no surprise that this demographic is far more pro-Hamas and anti-Israel than all other groups in the Western world. You might be wondering, why am I picking on TikTok? Aren't these disturbing statistics merely a reflection of the users on the platform? Why blame the company? The answer is simple. TikTok is not a normal social media company. It's a tool of the Chinese Communist Party. To help us understand this situation, we are joined by tech entrepreneur Brian Costello. Brian Costello has been exposing the malign influence of the Chinese Communist Party, especially through TikTok, on many major media outlets. You might have seen him on Fox News or Steve Bannon's War Room or others, and we're honored to be joined by him here on Eyes on Israel. Brian, welcome to Eyes on Israel.
Hi, Rabbi. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
So, Brian, you heard my intro, and, especially in our community here in Israel, I'm very disturbed by the fact I'm someone who's a little bit clued in, plugged in, and I see here in Israel so many people using TikTok. It's been normalized in our community, and we're really trying to raise awareness about what they are. So could you fill us in? You don't have to start all the way from the beginning, but just tell us in a few minutes, what is TikTok really?
So TikTok, which the parent company is based in Beijing, is ByteDance, is I would say, the Western or the American version of a short form video information platform where the content is delivered via machine learning and AI. So one of the reasons TikTok was very successful early on and went viral was your content was not served by following people, but there was technology on the back end that served you content based on your interests, right? And the Chinese Communist Party, with the original product in China was a short form news product called Taobao back in 2012, loved it because you could insert content and get it to everybody without having to have somebody follow you. So it was a, very specific product that the Chinese really supported from the beginning.
So they could just insert specific content into people's feeds.
Yeah, think about it. The original product. So there's three big products ByteDance has: Taobao, Douyin, and TikTok. Right? TikTok has 2 billion users globally, 170 million in the U.S., and it's primarily used in the Western world. And in China, the equivalent is Douyin, which has very different content. And the first product was this product Taobao. Actually, it was the original name of the company before they changed it to ByteDance, the parent company. And the Chinese government loved this and supported it early because they could re-indoctrinate people, right? They could see if you read an article on, pro-Western world and anti-communism, they could re-indoctrinate you, right? They could gradually shift you. It uses some technology called weight shifting, where over time it could actually move you. So this thing was designed from the beginning to influence a population.
And so what do you make of what we're seeing on Israel? You heard my open, and why should people be worried about TikTok? Fill us in for the uninformed.
Listen. The anomaly I think everybody saw, and some people like Kyle Basses of the world who have good access to information have tweeted about this. It's pretty amazing how on October 7th the pro-Palestine positions almost immediately took place. Right? You think, okay, maybe there should be some content to that direction deep into the war, right? But it was almost immediately October 7th, which is horrific that took place. So, just hidden in plain sight there, right? The algorithm kind of controls what content and it goes viral and what people see. And what people don't understand, what it does, Rabbi, is it does it based on groupings, right? So it groups people based on their interests. Right. So this is a technology that they could literally group everybody at Columbia right now and say, OK, these are extreme. So we can start feeding them more extreme content and put them in a particular group. They could group people on the UCLA campus. OK, these are people in the middle. We could start to shift them more this way. And so it's actually how the product works.
Meaning this is what we call a feature, not a bug, meaning TikTok was built in order to influence the user and push them towards certain positions that they already maybe are far from, but seem susceptible to, and it was essentially built for that purpose as opposed to other social media platforms.
100%. There was a gentleman named Lu Wei, who is Xi's internet propaganda czar, Xi Jinping, the general secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, who reported directly to him, who was involved in the company very early, very early, back in 2012 with the predecessor companies.
Okay, and what is the relationship? One piece that we haven't really touched on enough. What is the relationship between the Chinese Communist Party and ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok? And in terms of, if someone's using TikTok and the algorithm is taking in their information, how direct is the link between that user experience and the actual Chinese Communist Party?
Listen, the Chinese, when President Trump went to ban it back in 2000, the Chinese Communist Party immediately passed a law which said, thou shalt not transfer any technology without our approval, right? And here's one thing that, I think we're making a mistake in the U.S. on this is control in China is, unwavering control, right? It's communism. So you could own 1% of a country, 1% of a company and be in China. Chinese control in China is not what we think of it in the Western world. It's not equity ownership in a company. It's not all the things that we would kind of think about. So they're really the loyalty of the people who run TikTok and ByteDance to the Communist Party is the control.
Wow. So that means that, again, our users, kids sitting in Israel using TikTok, are being directly influenced by the agenda of the people sitting somewhere who are choosing to push narratives.
We know specifically there are thousands and thousands of Chinese citizens who cycle out of Silicon Valley every 90 days on visas that work on the product, right? So all you need is one or two of those individuals to be feeding information or have access to the algorithm or things like that. So these could be people in the U.S. that, you know, are just beholden to the Chinese Communist Party. It's a real bee's nest to clean this thing up.
So, Brian, we only have about 45 seconds left. If you could just tell us, what do you think people should do? Meaning, like, people have kids who are using TikTok, or, you know, in terms of some of the legislation that's passed. We only have a few seconds left. What would your advice be to our viewers?
I mean, listen, I personally would get off the product. I know that's hard to do with the kids. So specifically as it relates to what's going on with Israel and Palestine, I would have direct conversations with your kids. I'm very concerned that, you know, information like what happened with this refugee camp and, the false information that's out there, that's going to be propagated on TikTok to continue to drive people to take positions that aren't based on the facts. They're not based on the history. They're not based on the content. They're based on some short video that was driven to divide people. So if you can get your kids off it, great. But if you can't get your kids off it, make sure you have, direct conversations with them about what's going on. And
Brian Costello, thank you for your clarity, and thank you for for being in this fight and revealing the information you reveal. We'll be right back with more Eyes on Israel in just a few moments.